Revenge films.
This is a story about something that happened over 40 years ago. My family lived in the countryside. My house was surrounded by mountains. There were boars and bears everywhere. We had guard dogs out in the yard. There was a little space for them outside. At the time, there were 4 dogs in the house. The yard used to be a farm, so it was all bumpy. We used to watch them play next to us when we were working in the fields. The dogs we had were pretty big. They could even take down boars. But they were loyal to us and trained well. The oldest one was 12 years old. He wasn't sick or anything, but he couldn't move like the others. He could still take walks, though. He was always asking us to lift him up when going upstairs. Then he started having accidents. It wasn't on purpose, he just couldn't hold it in at times. We were thinking about getting him diapers. Grandpa always drove the truck with my dad and the 3 young dogs. The old dog always rode with Grandma and Mom in the van. But that day, my great-grandmother was visiting. So she joined us, along with my older brother who was 6 at the time. The old dog loved my great-grandmother. She basically raised him. "You're all old now, just like me," she said to the dog. Then he stood up and started barking out the window. "What's the matter?" "Probably saw a bird or something, no worries." "Oh, okay." But the dog kept barking. Then the 3 others started barking too. The old dog started going crazy. It wanted to get out of the car. The dogs were staring at something in the woods.
"What's the matter?" "Not sure. Maybe a bear?"
They got out of the car and came back to check on the old dog.
"Not sure what got into her."
We pulled over and tried to calm them down. My dad went up to the old dog and tried to pet her. But then he broke free and ran off. It happened so fast.
"Hold on!"
We chased after him. He ran into the woods. We had no idea he could still run like that. The other 3 was still barking.
"Guess he can still run,"
said Grandpa. It was a pretty big dog, so we were worried. What if he bites someone? We headed back and thought about calling the police. But then the old dog came home. It had a black plastic bag in its mouth.
"What's this?"
"He was barking from this."
Then he placed the bag next to my dad and whimpered. Then he sat down.
"You want me to open it?" "Go on, son." "You sure?" "Yeah, hurry up." "Okay."
It was a baby. It wasn't breathing, though. Dad screamed out loud.
"Ah! Oh my goodness!"
Grandpa raced home and called 911. We tried to resuscitate the baby in the van while we waited. The baby's body was still warm. My great-grandma was 90 at the time, but she used to be a midwife. So she was pretty calm.
"Come on now. Come back to us."
She did everything she could to help the baby while the rest of the family was panicking. A few minutes later, the baby started breathing again. Then the ambulance arrived and took her to the hospital. When the ambulance left, she started crying.
"Oh, thank God. Thank you, Lord."
The baby was hospitalized for a few days, but he was fine. Then they arrested the mother. She was a 17-year-old girl. and both families refused to take the baby. The baby was most likely going to end up in a foster home, but then my older brother said,
"Why don't we take her?"
They looked at each other for a second and then,
Haha, great idea. Of course.
And so they took her in. They adopted her while she was still in the hospital, and the baby lived happily ever after. As you may have guessed, I was that baby. The old dog saved my life, and my great-grandma too. She was the only one there who knew what to do. If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be here today. It was nothing short of a miracle. Everyone in town calls me the Miracle Girl. By the way, the old dog that saved me lived to be about 15. It was pretty long for a dog his size. My great-grandmother passed on a few years later, but my family always told me stories about her. The old dog was in almost every single picture I was in. I was a little kid back then, so sometimes I hit him by accident. But he always stayed next to me. And when someone from the neighborhood came over to our house to get a look at the Miracle Girl, the old dog always followed, looking worried. They said he looked like a father looking out for his daughter. 40 years later, they did call me the Miracle Girl, but I live a pretty normal life. But whenever I come home... Hey, Miracle Girl! It's good to see you!
Yeah, we're so proud of you.
It was kind of nice. My real mother abandoned me and left me to die. But that didn't really matter anymore. I was healthy and so was everyone else in my family. What more could I ask for, right? I guess it was all thanks to the old dog. Thanks, bud.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.